from leaving his family business to proving his naysayers wrong and getting one of the biggest exits in the e-commerce space. I'm in conversation today with Mithun Sacheti, the CEO at CaratLane. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining us. And I have to say, you said introduce me as Mithun means you're just one of the most unassuming people. Look at how you're dressed, so casual. Who would have thought that now every media wants to get an interview with you? So thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you, Avanne, for having me here.
So Mithun, let's just trace it back because I want to get to know a little bit more about your story. You finished your undergrad in the US, and then when you went and got your certification for being a gemologist, what was your thinking at the time?
Actually, I finished my undergrad in India, and thank God for that.
And you took a flight back
and then I went to California to US to study gemology and jewelry manufacturing. And till I didn't do that, I think I was sort of nervous about whether I can match up to the expectations of the family, whether I'll be able to deliver what is needed or not. My mom and dad are extremely hardworking people, and I see them and I'd wonder, like, how is this ever going to pan out? But getting that edge with that education sort of helped me because I could speak a language which is sort of different from what everybody else was speaking. And I felt a little more comfortable about it. So coming back, I knew that this is the business I want to be in. Yeah.
So that's exactly where you started off. So it seems like jewelry is in your blood, but you chose to leave the family business. And I believe your father was gobsmacked. He said, why is it that you're choosing to leave? And you asked for money, 75 lakh rupees, I believe, to start off. What was that like from your family, their reaction?
Actually, I didn't choose to walk away from the family business. The way I was looking at it, I always thought that I was expanding in a different area or a different consumer set.
Choosing to do your own thing.
Yes, on that. And so, and everything belongs to the family in a way, right? So I wasn't so, I just felt that we were very narrowly focused at Jaipur Gems. And the beauty of India is in the volume and it is not in the value. And so that was clear to me. And so I wanted to walk into an airplane or walk into a, some place that I go to and I can see people who I don't know wearing jewelry from CaratLane as well also. So when you're a manufacturer at heart, you want your pieces to be in more number of people. And I think for me, that was more important.
Yep, and if we fast forward to when you actually started the business, CaratLane, 2008, it wasn't just a bed of roses. There were a lot of challenges when you started off online. What were some of the biggest problems that you encountered?
Well, actually, 2008 was really not even a time to start online. I think we were way too early. So we thought when we had the website going that people will come and from tomorrow morning they'll start shopping, and nobody showed up. And it's happened twice in my life. When I started Jaipur Gems, the first day, when I started in Chennai, that is, the first day, lots of friends and family come. Second day, nobody shows up. So at least I was prepared for it somewhat. But that nobody showed up for 3 months was a long time. And to get people in, to get people interested, if they got interested, how do you make them feel that the delivery, the payment gateway, everything will work as per clockwork? All of those, I think we had to literally, we were the guys who built high-value courier systems in India. We're the guys who worked for high-value banking transactions in India. So each one of these things was a first for us, and then sort of helped a lot of other people along the way. So I think too many challenges, frankly. Today it all seems like stuff happened, but to me, I think at that moment you were just obsessed about solving one thing at a time and looking at it. If we wrote down all the challenges which would come our way, I don't think we would have ever got started.
But you've been very relentless in your pursuit, and one of the other examples of that was that you went to a number of VCs for a couple of years on end, if I'm not mistaken, 2009 to 2011, and you pretty much got the same answer from all of them. What did they say?
Good progress. Come next month.
That was pretty much the. How many did you meet?
I think there were about 10 VCs around that point who were looking at this sort of space. And we would meet most of them every month or every other month. And the same set of entrepreneurs would be going across over there trying to meet them. They literally had, they had everybody, right? They had to choose who they wanted to fund, and they obviously had small funds. So it was a very different world back then. And they were obviously trying to get more sure, because the more they could delay it, I think it was more in their favor as well also, till a Robin Hood showed up.
Yes, and that's exactly what I want to get to. It was an email, I believe, that popped up and you thought it was the Nigerian scam. Tell us a little bit more.
It was a LinkedIn request actually.
Okay, okay.
And you don't sort of expect all this to come through a LinkedIn request, and the other side, I was like begging every day to try and get money every month, and I would hear this good progress story every time. So when I got this, I just didn't think that this is for real.
What is this? Tell our viewers, what is this that you got?
So it was a message which said, hi, I am Lee Fixel. I'm from Tiger Global. We manage $14 billion and we're looking to invest in various companies in India. We have a lot of interest in China. CaratLane's of interest to us. We'd love to talk to you about it.
Wow.
So who calls you and says, I want to give you money?
Yeah, you must have done a double take and been like, this is for sure some sort of a scam, right?
Yeah, so I didn't respond, frankly, till I read. And I think some other people told me about it, that no, this guy's for real. And he put money in Flipkart at that point. And I quickly went back and I sort of reached out,
you did.
saying that, I'd be interested to meet, and, rest and just move from there.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the change of fortunes. I want to talk about how things moved on, your mentor, then later on Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. But maybe we shall do that on the first floor of the CaratLane store.
Sure.
Let's do that.
Thank you.
All right, here we are on the first floor of the lovely CaratLane showroom in Bandra. And Mithun, let's continue our conversation. So your fortunes changed when you clicked on that email or on that LinkedIn request, but it hadn't really changed when it comes to the company, because I believe you guys were churning out loss after loss, year after year. So what was the time frame at that point? How did Tiger Global intervening change things?
Actually, we were not losing money till then.
Okay.
Then you sort of go really, the purpose of venture capital money.
You mean you guys were profitable?
We were break even.
Okay.
Or close to break even at least. So the purpose of venture capital money also is to sort of go wide and then see what other areas can you go into, and then see whether, you try and find what's the scale that you can get in the market. And so they expect you to sort of lose money on that. And so we really went wide, and we tried to see whether stores will work. We tried to see whether try at home will work. We tried to see all of those. What's the right format for all that to work? What kind of jewelry will work? So we were able to really experiment a lot, which I think would not have been possible had it not been for Tiger Global.
Yeah. So what were the financials at the time when you were, just about breaking even, and how did the game change with Tiger Global?
Oh, we were small. I think we were at about 12, 13 crores of consumer revenue back then. Yeah. And with them, over the next 5 years, we grew about 10x. So we were at about 140, 150 crores of revenue by then. Yeah.
And was it then, if I've got my timeline correct, that you were introduced to Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala as well? Or
yeah, it was just after the Titan.
The Titan deal. Okay, so let's start off then with the first round that Tiger Global was bought out by Titan, where they pumped in money. Tell us a little bit more about the first association with Titan, what they had valued the company at, and how you guys were performing at the time.
They sort of, I think financially it's the easy number to speak about. They valued us at about 563 crores enterprise value. Yeah. And I think, at least from what I hear and what I've read also, that Bhaskar says, who was then the MD of Titan, that he saw us as a fresh team trying to do things which are different from how they were looking at things. The vocabulary was different, the style was different, the consumer segment was different.
So was it much like the email that you, or the LinkedIn request that you got, or here, how did it happen even?
Oh no, here we were pursuing them for years. Because I always believed that Titan, Tatas are a gold standard for trust. Yeah. And Tanishq is the gold standard for trust in jewelry. This articulation I got from Bhaskar, but the belief and the understanding was certainly there in my mind before that. 100%.
It does have that association with all of their brands. And then it was that you were introduced to Mr. Rakesh Janjanwala via Mr. Bhatt. And I believe that he played a very pivotal role in really helping change the business. What advice did he give to you? What kind of sessions did you have with him, if at all?
Yeah, look, his perspective to business is what helped us change. It was up to us to take that on and sort of build on that part. And the kind of personality that he was, you would sit and listen, and you would want more. And I wish I could get more of him today as well. He was somebody who really taught us the difference of, or the transition from Tiger to Titan was actually not an easy transition, because the language that Titan spoke, they didn't know what Tiger spoke. And what Tiger spoke, Titan didn't know. And we were like sort of this guy who's in between, or this firm that's in between this whole thing. And how do you build the same business with the same kind of scale that we were getting with Titan? And how do you understand to sort of build this into a profitable business and sort of focus, and your growth should come from your own capital. You should not have to look outside all the time for capital. All of those things, I think he added tremendous value.
No, so what exactly, can you walk us through, or just, revisit some of those memories or sessions that you had with him? What did he say about your business?
Well, at first he thought it was just, why should you lose money trying to sell jewelry to somebody? Okay. And it's a very valid point. Yeah. But when you come from that world of a VC-funded business, you think losing money is almost your birthright. And it doesn't play out the same way. Yeah. It's not the way that one should look at it. But I frankly didn't think about it any different. I thought that's just the way you got to do this. If you want this sort of blitz scaling, then you have to do this. His ability to sort of plant that into our head and say that you will earn my respect only when you sort of turn this around and still deliver the kind of growth that you're trying to do. I think that was sort of, that left a very deep imprint on my mind. And then over the next few years, with the help of Bhaskar and Venkat, from both of them from Titan, with a guiding hand of Rakesh on top, I think we were able to build something extraordinary, I think.
Yeah, no, certainly. And look where we are today as well. Let's talk about this deal now, the latest one with Titan, valuing the company at 17,000 crore rupees.
Yeah.
Now, very different from the valuation that you spoke of when they first pumped in money.
Yeah.
So why this major alpha?
So actually I spoke about enterprise value then, and actually the enterprise value now also will be closer to 18,000, not 17,000. A business which grows at 50% plus for 5 years in a row and has become as qualitatively profitable as we are right now, where governance standards are that of a listed entity like Titan, at the same time has a potential, we've basically think about this growth in everyday jewelry as something that's flying, and we've caught it by the tail and we're sort of riding that. Yeah. And there's a long runway in this. That long runway that we're going to see is what excites everybody who wants to play this category. Yeah. So we have great governance, we're fast growing, we are profitable and profits are growing faster.
What's the number at last for the year?
We did 2,200 crores revenue last year and about 150 crores of EBITDA, 160 crores I think we did. And that's possibly going to grow north of 3,000 very easily this year. Yeah. And so, and we're in a space which is growing very well. When you're on the right ride, then everybody wants a part of it, right?
But one can't take away from the fact that yes, the space is growing, but there were a lot of players as well. So how did you manage to really stand out or beat the competitive intensity?
I think it's got to do with how you align yourself with partnerships. Okay. And the fact that Titan brings in trust and Titan brings in best practices on that. And the team at CaratLane brings in sort of the next practices to this business. And the market is ripe for it. Market is ripe for everybody. Yeah. That combination sort of worked well, I think. I've always believed in building everything through partnerships. In my head, the customer is a micro partnership. The vendor is a micro partnership. The team is a slightly bigger partnership. And the relationship with Tata was the big partnership. Okay. And so all these partnerships, if aligned well, sort of deliver well.
Yeah. And at the start, like probably everyone who starts, there were a lot of naysayers. They said, "Band kar do, this is never going to work. Who's going to buy online?" What did you feel like then? What do you want to tell them now?
No, I mean, I think naysayers have a role. They sort of keep you honest. Yeah. And why do people, there are two types of naysayers. Right? There are those naysayers in your family who will possibly say that, and they're saying it because they want to protect you.
Want the best for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those who actually are naysayers but never say it on your face are the ones you never hear from anyways.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I think most people say that from a point of protecting you, and that opinion, what you need to take away from that is to figure out what is the objective line in it. So why will people trust to buy jewelry online was the objective line.
Yeah.
And all these years we've been sitting and sort of answering that question.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're wrong. We had to build an omni business to become really successful. So,
Yes.
So yeah.
Where was the first store that you opened? Was it in Delhi?
It was in Delhi.
Okay,
We opened the first store
so
in
what
Delhi.
was that, thinking of, we need to shift the strategy, move to omni-channel. How did that work initially? Was there a lot of capex?
No, actually we had a view that it has to be omni all throughout. We just didn't know the word because the word sort of came by later. What we did get terribly wrong is that the first store that we opened up was completely tech. So, touch screens,
No jewelry,
digital,
I believe.
no jewelry in it at all, or very little jewelry.
Very minimal,
and all
yeah.
those who were visiting the website came to the store like, where's the jewelry?
Yeah.
And we're like, we thought
Yeah.
we could just come and play here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we had to redo that whole thing. And then the second store we opened, we got the location wrong. We got the size wrong. Yeah. For the size of jewelry we are, I think the architect designed a store where the busts were too large and the spaces were too large. And so, they're not used to everyday jewelry either, so can't blame them. Yeah. And so we got that wrong. Yeah. And it's only the third one that opened up in Bangalore at Phoenix where we solved for all of this. So that iterative process and being at it, very easy. I mean, we could have said, just shut this down, stores don't work.
Yeah.
Same
But
with
you
our,
worked on it.
Yeah, we worked on it. Same with our try at home. We failed 3 times. It's the 4th time we got it right. The 4th iteration that we got it right. So I feel it's just the Indian consumer is different from consumers any other part of the world. And some of the ideas often come from different parts of the world. But you have to find your own Indian tadka to it. If you don't find that, these things don't play out.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And you're talking about the number of stores. I'm looking at all of this dazzling jewelry. I guess you guys have figured it out with how it works, with the size of the store, etc. How many are there currently, pan-India?
About 239 yesterday. That's the number of stores. We have Rohtak was the last one that opened yesterday. It is, we add a store every 2 weeks pretty much. The team's
So
doing
that's
a
why
fab
you're
job.
busy on the go all the time as well.
Well, not so much now, but
Yes,
everybody
of course,
else
not
is.
anymore, but you've been.
They do a great job with it, and I think the team is it's a well-oiled machinery.
So how does it work in terms of the online sales contributing and the offline model as of now? How much does that
We look
generate?
at our business as one channel. So I'll think of Bandra Turner Road, where we are right now, as Bandra as one market, and I would advertise only online to everybody who lives in this area. And then the comfort is up to them whether they want to buy online, whether they don't do a try at home, or whether they want to come to the store and pick it up, because people have different preferences. And we do know that as the value goes slightly higher, they prefer to come to the store. But for gifting, etc., they're happy to buy online. But we, as a principle, have always stayed away from sort of trying to push one against the other, because then you start to create channel conflict in your own business. Yeah. And so for me, it's a no-go to even look at these things separately.
And let's talk about the way ahead, because now from diamonds, you've moved to gold, I believe. Tell us what's keeping you busy these days.
Well, when you worked in the jewelry business as long as I have, you listen to the objections that people have as well also. So one of the objections that I hear often, and this happens more, there are women who have no assistance, they come on their own and they buy and they go and they're very happy. And there are those who need some assistance, so they bring a spouse along or a friend along or a father along, or whichever way. And oftentimes one of the conversation that comes up is that it's not an investment, it's a dead investment. It's not like I'm ever going to sell it, and I can't use that money otherwise as well also. So what I'm trying to solve now is to solve for that line where how do I make jewelry fungible and also accessible? So storage also has to change. When you have jewelry, how do I make sure that you have a line of credit against it as well? So trying to sort of solve for that right
So
now.
that's with Aura, if you...
Oro.
I'm so sorry. So tell us more about that.
So Oro is, I think it's a business which is uniquely designed for India. And what we're trying to do is that all the jewelry that you put inside a locker, how do I give you a line of credit against it while giving you the access to wear that jewelry as well? Now it sounds like doomsday, but that's the job, right? We have to fix something different. We have to do something unique. We are iterative. We'll figure it out.
Okay. And what's your relationship like with money and, you know, with success that has really come your way after a lot of perseverance?
I have a very comfortable relationship with money, actually. With success, I'm very awkward.
Yeah, I can see you're very unassuming.
Yeah, with money, it's just a score for me, frankly. I don't think of it too much. It's not something that I need too much of, but it is something that helps me score because the world values things like that as well also. So.
And if you could tell us, given that you've been entrenched in the jewelry business for so many years, where do you see the market headed? What are some of the big pivotal changes? Do you see tech playing a huge role? How do you see it growing?
Look, tech is the new marketing. It's the thing that's going to make things happen because it's the third extension of all our lives, right? The two hands, this is now the third one that we have technology with us at all times.
And it's our 11th finger, right? Like our mobile phone, for instance.
Yes. And so I don't see tech not playing a role in any part of anything that we do at all as well also. So now you can choose whether it's for operations or you can choose whether it's for marketing, and that will depend on every industry as well and how it plays out. For jewelry, certainly Instagram, for example, because such a visual category is a very big space that it is, but it was Facebook before and now it's Instagram that's doing that. And so I think new channels will keep coming up, but all will have some role of technology. On the operations side, I think technology plays an amazing role of making things happen a lot more seamlessly. And it's almost like the role of a magician is played by technology. So I feel tech has a big impact on everything we do in jewelry.
I'm sure there's a lot of young people watching this interview, people who want to start out their business or already have, facing hurdles. What are the top 3 or top 5 bits of advice that you want to give to someone who's starting out?
I don't know about 3 and 5, but as long as you stay iterative to the problem statement that you're going to solve, and it's not your statement, it's the customer's statement, I think it'll help to sort of achieve the goals or the dreams that everybody has. Stay iterative, stay honest to it. If it's not working out, maybe then move on, but let the customer help you decide that. Don't make that decision because your investor tells you or because your family tells you. It's always the customer who lets you know whether you're going to be in this for a long time or not.
And any regrets that you have?
Losing my business is certainly a regret, but losing it to the Tatas is a comfort factor.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. And do you think that down the line people as well should adopt this kind of a mindset that you've stayed the course, you've stayed strong to what you believed in, and your focus on being profitable, etc. Do you think that these are some things as well that people should look at?
I mean, the raison d'etre of any business is to be profitable, while serving a new need or serving a need in a new manner. So I think had I learned this earlier, we would have been sort of a lot more celebrated than we are right now. But we took our time to figure it out. If others can sort of figure this out faster, and many are doing that part, I think more power to them, and I think this will happen a lot faster as well. We went through a phase in which there's a lot of money came by, and money oftentimes acts as a corroding agent. It is what happens, what moisture does to iron as well also. Money is like that to entrepreneurs oftentimes.
I don't think anyone's ever said that on the channel. And do you have a mentor? Is it Mr. Jhunjhunwala or anyone else?
No, I mean, I look at, of course, RJ, Bhaskar, so many people, I would look at each one of them for the qualities that they brought to my life. My parents, for that matter, my brother, each one adds something or the other in my life, and I look at that, and I think that's the way to sort of build out as well. Also, you should look for that. There is no such thing as a single mentor, and if you want to look for a mentor, LinkedIn's the place. There are more mentors there than mentees these days, but everybody seems to be a mentor. But for me, finding these unique things in every one of these people, looking for the good in people and figuring out how can that help me, has worked for me.
I think one of your mantras for success as well is being, such a humble person that you are. And maybe you'll be the next mentor now as well.
Oh no, no.
Yeah, so we're wrapping up this interview. So thank you so much for taking time out. Maybe now I'll browse through and pick something wonderful for myself.
Would love that. We have we have an employee discount.
I am not a student. Okay, an employee discount. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Bye.